Winterberg in Germany, the venue for the second race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup, the fourth race weekend, make that. First trip this season to this Uhlaender track, one where perfection is expected if you want to find any time. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, getting ready for the action here in the women's skeleton, 27 sleds on the ice. And Greg West, this, as we've seen in the men's race already, is a track that can be very deceptive. A good start can go away before you get to turn 3.
Yeah, like Eagles, this track is very start dependent, but unlike Eagles, it has a small extra variable known as curve zero. Curve zero, as you're gonna see right here, was added when they adjusted the start ramp. And what it is a place where you can find yourself washing away your entire start. You see it going through turn 2 here. This is an Omega double pressure corner, and then into a place that John Morgan, happy birthday, would call the graveyard. Turns 3, 4, and 5. The track is basically flat at this point. So if you see the pilot steering anytime during that section where they're actively dropping a toe or something, they're basically dropping anchor. We're into the Chrysler double pressure corner. Those who are quick through here will look like they're mostly flat. Those that are seeing a lot of waves are just covering more meters. And then into turn 9, this is where the bottom drops out of it. You go from about 50 miles an hour up to 80. We'll see some action right there on the exit at turn 11. And then the flop from turn 13 to 14 right there seems to be the fast line, 65 feet uphill through the finish curve. And the victory roll maybe across the finish line.
You just casually accelerate from 50 to 80 miles an hour. Kimberley Bos is our World Cup points leader, 2 silver medals in the 6th place this season. She's got consistency and pace. And Elena Tarasova, another World Cup rookie in only her first full season, lies second ahead of her teammate Elena Nikitina, who has 2 wins already, but then a disappointing 11th place last week in Winterberg dropped her down the order. Well, we could see plenty of action in this race as well. It's a track where the fast starters have an advantage, but not always all the way to the line. German sliders like Jacqueline Loelling, the hometown queen, and Tina Hermann seem able to turn a half-second deficit into a lead somehow. There's Kim Meylemans with her fan club. They're not all that furry, I believe. 2 hometown queens, Neise and Jacqueline Loelling, both slide here. This is their base. Neise for BSC Winterberg, the local club, and RSG Uhlaender is Jacqueline Loelling's crew. So Kelly Delka from Puerto Rico leads us off here. We have 27 sleds in the field, including a World Cup debutante from Switzerland, Caroline Andre, and she will be the final of our 27 sleds. Top 20 go through into the second heat, where we go 20 down to 1 to decide the medals. Well, this is a track where an awful lot can happen. Getting our 4th race in the Women's Skeleton World Cup underway here in Winterberg in Germany, Puerto Rico's Kelly Delka. She is making her first World Cup start on the Winterberg ice.
5:59, get away from Kelly. See a little toe action on the exit of corner 0. That'll be a hot spot that we watch. Kelly's setting the benchmark today, so we'll pretty much compare everybody to her for at least the first few sleds.
Well, real disappointment for her. I'm sure that they're not sliding in North America. She started in the US program, knows North American tracks well. This is only her 8th World Cup start, and she's only been on this ice, I think, once or twice before.
Pretty good line there through Chrysler. We see her muscling it a little bit on the exit, clean through 8-9. We'll see some action from other sliders there on the right wall. Slipping it through there and threading the needle is not easy. So we're seeing some really nice lines here from Kelly at the bottom, but we see her elbows coming out a little bit, and that's indicative of somebody that's really muscling the sled. 58.93. It'll be interesting to see how that holds up against this field of 27 athletes.
It's only her 2nd World Cup of the season. Last week in Winterberg was the first. She spent the first few weeks of the season sliding on North American ice. She was 23rd last week. World Cup best, 20th place in Lake Placid a couple of seasons back.
We see her going through turn 11. Look at that top elbow. See how it's sticking out a little bit there for a second, then she tucks it back in. When the elbow sticks out, it means you're putting input into the sled, and that's an area you really kind of want to let the sled fly. Exit turn 13, we see that little flop right there. That's actually not a bad thing at all. We saw that during the men's race. The people that were going fast had that flop.
So Kelly Delka is our rabbit. She sets the pace, and we wait and see how everybody else compares. 12th World Cup race for Italy's Alessia Crippa. She was 16th here in the race last year. Her World Cup best, 13th in Innsbruck last year as well. This year, 21st, 22nd, and 25th. So she's not having the best of seasons right now.
5:33 getaway, nice and clean exit out of corner 0. So what that means, because there was no drama there, is she maintained that speed and actually was able to accelerate, and that's why she's got a half-second lead going into turn 3. The big thing you're going to notice with Alicia is it's quiet. We're not hearing any scraping. She's letting the sled run, and that's how you build speed out to a 0.7 of a second gap as she goes through the Kreisel.
So second World Cup race here. Top 16 last year. Let's see if she can improve on that in this first heat.
Boy, really building speed out to almost a second as she goes to turn 11. No drama there. Continues to extend. This is a good run from the Italian. See where she ends up at the line. Wow.
All right, 57.53. Right, the track record is currently a 57.26. She looks absolutely thrilled with that. 57.26 set by Sarah Wimmer, who's one of the junior sliders in the German program. That was in November of last year, 28th of November 2020. That was in either a Europa Cup or an ICC race.
We'll see the Italian going through turn 11 here. We see the elbows are tucked in. She dropped the toe just for a second to help change the nose, but not really muscling. That's more of a passive steer through there. She just let the toe touch, and then we're seeing this 13-14. We're gonna see this shot from almost every slider. It's a little rough through there, but that's the fast line.
First two sliders on ice have a total of 20 World Cups between them. Here's a woman who's got 41 now under her belt, 31-year-old Jaclyn Narracott from Australia. 13th, 19th, and 15th this season, but she was 10th here back in 2018.
Jackie, 5:03 on the start. Good start there.
5:03.
I said 5:03. That can't be right. I say no, 5:40 on the timing screen.
Yeah. I was going to say that's 900s inside the all-time start record.
Well, Jackie's been working out.
Yeah.
See her
in the red behind Crippa. Yeah, gap's coming back down though.
0.12 of a second. She's clawing it back. Fastest speed so far of the ladies through the Kreisel. See how she slips through, threads the needle nicely, 8 to 9, and fastest speed again, 0.05 of a second back. We've got a race on our hands. She needs to be drama 3, 11, 12, 13. Check. Uphill, big speed again, 129.4. She will be your new leader.
All right, 57.42. 57.26, I remind you, is the track record. So we're 1/1600ths away. We had a brand new track record with the very last of 50 trips down the track this morning. That was Alexander Chechikov, the winner. He took the track record by 100th. With a big smile on the face of Jaclyn Narracott. Or should we now call her Jackie Parsons? Officially Jaclyn Narracott still.
Hey, Dom, back at home, Jackie's husband. Little skid on the exit of corner 0. I missed that in the live shot when I was looking over at the timing, but didn't seem to hinder her too much. Once again, exit turn 13. We're going to see that little flop, but that is the fast line today. The way the ice is cut, maybe clipped a little much on the entrance, but I think she's happy with it, Martin.
Is everybody loving Winterberg this afternoon? Well, 60th World Cup race for Elena Nikitina. 14 wins in the previous 59. In the last couple of seasons, she is suddenly just winning everywhere. What she got this morning, this afternoon?
5:20. So fastest start of the competition, even though I misspoke and said that Jackie had a 5:03.
And only 800ths away from her own start record as well, so that might be in danger in the second heat.
like her teammate Alexander Trechikov, known for her prowess on the start ramp. But Elena's actually become quite the pilot over her career coming down the hill. You don't see her, letting leads burn away. She's up 0.2 of a second going into Kreisel, third fastest speed, but drama-free through the middle of the track.
Well,
little touch there before turn 9. That is the mistake that does tend to compound on itself. So we may see her down on speed here at the bottom.
Yeah, she's going to be behind Jaclyn Narracott at the line. Elena Nikitina, how far back? 1/10, maybe 2/10. Only Kelly Delka slower. 100th. She found something in the final corner. There's Sergei Chudanov. 57.43. Yeah. Well, I was starting to wonder whether they'd just gone wrong on the setup. Is that why the speed was bleeding out of the sled? But she went from 2700ths up to 100th back. She nearly rescued it in the final corner.
Yeah, I think there was just a couple of small little issues here. We see exit corner 0. You don't want that height that late. Comes over and she wills it away from the wall. Sometimes that's worse than taking the tap because you have to cut so much ice. We see her here, and I believe this is the exit of turn 9. But once again, no major dramas. I think she might have just worked a little bit in the middle of the track a little too hard.
So Elena Nikitina, third in points with 2 wins this season. What about Jane Channell of Canada? 52nd World Cup start for Jane. Best here, bronze medal in 2015 behind Jacqueline Loelling silver and Tina Hermann the gold. And that was the autumn of 2015 after the Worlds in the February.
See what Jane can do here. 5:24. Pretty good start. Pretty good through corner 0 and corner 1. So she has the fastest velocity, even though she didn't have the fastest start, the fastest velocity between turns 0 and 1. What does that mean? Up 0.3 of a second going through the upper third of the track.
She's making it look really straightforward here, isn't she? Look at the form into the Kreisel.
Yeah, Jane really putting on a clinic here. She can slip it through into 9, which she does. Second fastest speed, but up 0.3 of a second. Barring any major issues here at the bottom, she could be our new leader.
Yeah, Narracott still with the best speeds down the track. Didn't have as good a start as Channell, and Jane takes the lead by a new track record. Wow, that is a massive, massive run for Jane Channell. Now the question is, how long will she be the track record holder?
Nothing against Jane, but I feel like there's going to be a couple other people that take shots at it. That being said, that was a fantastic run. I mean, top to bottom. You can't really, little stuff here and there. But the biggest thing she did is she just was smooth. You commented on it yourself. She was in bullet form and looked relaxed all the way down the hill. And Winterberg knows if you're relaxed, because when you're tight, speed just bleeds away.
Well, a great way to start her day. Jane Channell leads, first 5 sleds down. 10th World Cup start for Elena Tarasova of Russia, 21 years old, former hurdler from Moscow. She is 2nd in World Cup points.
See what Elena can do here, having a great season, 5:21. Second fastest start of the competition, but actually a little behind Jane on speed between corners 0 and 1. And that just shows you how well Jane navigated the first couple corners of the track.
Well, Jane with 42 more World Cup starts than Elena, and a couple more here for sure. This is Jane's 6th World Cup. Elena has not raced here in the World Cup before.
1800s back, only the 5th fastest speed through the middle, but the Russian sleds have been building speed late all day, so we'll see if she can come back into it. No, falling back more, 2600s back, 5th fastest speed again, so it seems like that's kind of her number right now. We see a little toe action in turn 11, so she's working the sled, and 5th fastest speed through the finish corner.
She's only had 3 race weekends here in her career. You see Sergei Chudanov there behind the scenes. Former German coach Dirk Matjens helping with the sled setup, helping with the lines. And that's going to be a big boost for the Russians' hopes on German tracks. And she comes down in 4th place, 57.51. We're already shaping up with a very, very close middle pack. 100th between Narracott in 2nd and Nikitina in 3rd. And she's 200ths ahead of Alessia Kripa.
Look like just a little bit of energy there coming out of turn 9. That's a pretty good line. There's the fake turn 10 that no one really touches. And we see her on the exit of 13 there, working the sled a bit. All in all, a pretty good run. We're on track record ice.
Yeah, we are. Elena Tarasova is down and done for the first heat. What about Kim Meylemans? 48th World Cup race for her. She got her first career bronze medal in the opening race of the season in Innsbruck. 3rd, 6th and 5th for little Kim, the Belgian slider. She's having a great year.
5:32, good run through corner 0. Little counter toe on the exit there, costs a little bit, but Kim's a glider. Kim is one of those athletes that builds speed really late, and I have a sneaky suspicion she's going to put on a clinic here. She's 1900s back. Watch that number.
Well, the other thing about Kim is she went to school in Berchtesgaden, same school as Tina Hermann, same year as Tina Hermann, and she started in the German program, so she knows the German shortcuts on all these tracks.
Little energy there on the exit of turn 8. She's 2800, so she stopped the bleeding. She's the 3rd fastest speed, though, so I don't know if she's going to be able to top the charts, but I think she could still be in the top 3 at the end of this run. She's coming back, 2500's back.
Good speed, 128.8, 129.4. Jaclyn Narracott is the fastest, halves the deficit to a 57.33 run.
So she found the time warp in turn 14 and clawed back a lot of time.
Listen, anytime this season you've been a 10th ahead of Elena Nikitina, it's been a good run. Nikitina, last year's winner on this track, let's not forget, ahead of Tina Hermann and Janine Flock. It wasn't exactly a lightweight field last year.
Coming through turn 11, very similar to Jane. You can just see how relaxed she is. That is bullet form, head is buried. She knows where she's at, she's confident. And then coming through Zeal Curve, turn 14, the finish corner, you don't want to see big waves, little waves all right. And she avoids the finish roll that we saw from one athlete during the men's race.
Yeah. So from Kim Meylemans, maybe. 8th starter is Yulia Kanakina of Russia, 43rd World Cup for her, her 7th on this track. So far this season, 12th and 5th in Innsbruck, 7th last week in Altenburg. Should be another top 10 run here. She's got plenty of experience and decent speed at the start.
5:24, so tied off the bat. Only the 5th fastest speed, though, coming out of turn 1. That, once again, shows you how important that corner 0 is. It's just kind of a wall that you have to rub up against to get into turn 1. And if you do it right, you can accelerate like Jane. And if you don't do it very well, you're like Julia, and you go from the fastest start to 5th on the time charts. She's already almost a quarter second back.
Well, 4th fastest through the middle. Nikitina is 4th, Tarasova is 5th at the moment, and she's kind of hovering around behind both of them.
6th fastest speed through turn 9. Her head's up a little bit. She's not trusting it, falling back 3,500s back. Only the 7th fastest speed through the finish corner.
Whoa. And 6th at the line. Oh, tied with Alessia Kripa of Italy.
There's quite the battle there, 4th through 6th right now.
Yes, there really is. And the deal here with Kanakina and with her teammates, what happens if Russia only get 2 sleds? Right now, she's not going to the games. Right now, it's going to be Tarasova, your number 1 pick, and Nikitina, your number 2.
See her here on the start ramp. Once again, Yulia, really good starter, the former ballerina, but she is working the sled. Missed that in the live picture. And that was the reason she dropped from tied for the fastest start to only having the 5th fastest speed in turn 1.
And that going away shot shows how much you can get kicked out of the start grid. Well, next up, Katie Uhlaender, a winner on this track as recently as 2006. A medalist
like
in
yesterday.
2007. Well, that's almost is in Katie's career.
5:34. So a 10th off, but that is an excellent looking turn zero. The 10th, she's 5th fastest speed though. So we'll see where her split is at the next time check.
She's already done 10 World Cup races on this track since her debut here in 2004. That's more than some sliders in the field have done in total anywhere. 1600s back. This is close for the lead.
Fastest speed through the Kreisel. She's a wily veteran now. She threads the needle, 8 to 9, still the fastest speed, 400s back. She has a chance to climb to the top of the charts.
In the red, it's going to be very close though. Back in the green, 300s in it. This is with Jane Channell for the lead of the race. We still haven't had Loelling or Hermann, but what a good run and a new Czech record. Whoa, well, I wonder when the last time Katie Uhlaender set a European track record was. Well, she may not have seen on the screen what the time was, but Greg, when it feels good, you know it's good, right?
Oh, you know when you have a hot run going. Winterberg is fun.
I wonder how many times in their life she said that.
One.
All it takes, all it takes is one good run, and boy, this was one good run.
There's a Katie going through turn 11, the Katie Uhlaender trademark. She always keeps her feet a little bit apart. That's how she slides. Guess what? It's been working for her for a long time. She's stoked.
She sorted out corner zero. 9 sleds down in our field of 27. Our 10th starter with fewer getaways than Katie Uhlaender. This is only the 91st World Cup for Janine Flock, last year's bronze medalist. But like Uhlaender, this is her 11th World Cup on this track.
.548 from Janine, and no drama through corner zero, but down on the push time means she's only the 8th fastest through the top of the track. And once again, you hear me saying this, the reason why is because from right about here for the next 4 corners, this track is basically flat. So any extra speed you have in the sled is really going to stretch out or condense you to the field. 0.15 of a second back. Fastest speed though, this is what Janine does, build speed. She uses that long lead aerodynamic frame to just slip through the air. A little high on the exit at 8. Let's see the tap before 9, but still up on speed. Fastest of the heat as she goes to the bottom third of the track.
Well, this is the woman who's had a bronze medal in the last 3 races on this track within a 10th of a second. Got to be a track record to take the lead here. It's all or nothing. It's a tie for the track record. We have double leaders. So we have the top 3 covered by 700ths of a second. Janine Flock and Katie Uhlaender sharing the lead. Jane Channell in 3rd.
Excellent run there from Janine. Obviously very stoked anytime you set a track record. Great looking helmet in slow motion there at the start.
Yeah. Our track announcer, Willy Wilman, making a good point. He said, this is the fastest race of all time. Well, of course it is. We've already had 3 track records. We haven't even got to the top German sliders, or any of them. So that's a very fine point. So, tied for the lead. Janine Flock and Katie Uhlaender, 10 sleds down, 17 to go. And it's still only the first heat. 11th starter, race 4 of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup. Kimberley Bos, our World Cup points leader. 38th World Cup start for the Dutch slider. This year, second, and 6th. Martin Haven and Greg West watching the action with you.
Yeah, Kim sporting that yellow bib. I saw her post on, I think on Facebook. Pretty excited about that. Not many sliders have had that opportunity. 5.30 on the start. She's in the green though, 0.04 of a second at the moment. That's down from 18. Little toe action there. Kim really does a good job of melting into the sled though.
Such a mental game, isn't it? When you're in the right frame of mind, everything is easy. When you're not, everything is impossible.
Well, I believe Kim has already punched her ticket to the Olympic Games, so the stress level should be down. And you're seeing it right now because she's sliding fantastic. Good looking run so far from Kim.
Last year, 3rd in the overall World Cup standings. She clinched it at the final race in Innsbruck. third best speed. Are we going to have another track record? We are having another track record. Wow. And she took 12 hundredths of a second out of that. That is a huge run for Kimberley Bos. What do they say? Every sport is won and lost in the 6 inches between the ears. Oh, orange gum shield, not a good look. That gives you medieval teeth. That needs rethinking.
Be nice, Martin. Hey, you know, this is fun to call a race when everybody's in a good mood when they get to the bottom because they just set a track record. You see a piece of tape fly off her sled there at the bottom. 80 miles an hour of wind over the sled will do that.
Well, that left her pretty unimpressed, I think. Kristen Bromley back home. Calm down, Kristen, calm down. Next up then, Neise. 10th World Cup start for this German slider, just 24 years old. This is literally home ice, not just a German track. This is where she started. This is where she's based. BSC Winterberg representing. 5:53. She's got a lot of sliding to do.
Got some work to do. 10th fastest velocity going into the flat part of the track. But I have a sneaking suspicion Hannah is not on the German World Cup team for her starts. This girl can flat out fly down the track.
Yeah, none of them are on the German World Cup team for their starts, that's for sure.
I would critique the
in the
toe.
start house.
I would critique the toe, but she has way more experience here than me, so it's probably the fast line. Nice looking line, 8 to 9.
Now top speed, here we go.
Yeah, she's got a
long way to come back though, Greg.
She's got her foot planted on the gas. We'll see if she can bring it back a bit. 29 hundredths of a second, so she's going to take a little out of the lead. Fastest speed at the bottom, but she won't be the leader.
Fifth at the line, 27 hundredths back. Top 4 covered by 19 hundredths of a second.
I believe that would have broken the track record at the beginning of the day.
Yes, 100th inside the old track record. She's just
anytime you're breaking track records, you have to be in a good mood. Yeah.
Well, Kristen Bromley and Shelley Rudman are breaking furniture as they bounce around. Kristen is back home watching the action. Kimberley Bos leading. Neise, not the greatest starter, and she over-rotated a little there, Greg, as well. Didn't land square on the sled.
In the live shot, I actually thought she popped the groove because I saw the front of the sled come up.
Yeah.
But when you start with that deficit and you bring it back that close, you had a heck of a run. I think Hannah put down everything she could there. Be interesting to see what Tina does here.
60th World Cup start for Tina Hermann, a woman who has 2 wins on this track, 2 silver medals, including last year. What can she do here?
5:49, so going to be in the same situation as her teammate. Had to work it to keep it off the wall out of corner 0, and only the 12th fastest velocity through the first speed checkpoint.
6 World Cup races here, 2 wins, 2 silvers, 2 5th places.
Well, Tina's known for bringing it back late, just like Hannah did a second ago. 2nd fastest speed through the middle. So 2,600's back. Now it's a race. What can she do in the bottom of this track to try to bring it back?
Yeah, 1/4 of a second is a lifetime in this sport, unless you're Tina Hermann or Jacqueline Loelling. And Hermann can bring that back and turn it into a track record. She broke the track record in Altenburg last week. She could break the track record here again. She's going to be very close. 2nd at the line.
Well, she brought it back. She was a 1/4 second back, halfway down the track, and she stepped on the gas.
Well, now here's...
Oh, she broke her shoe.
Oh, she broke... Oh,
that's the heel. The heel came off the shoe.
Is it, or is it the spikes? No, it's the spikes where she was breaking.
Spike plate. She's not happy.
Well, now she's 400s back from Kimberley Bos, so everything is possible. Except, remember, at the start of this run, she was no hundreds back from Kimberley Bos. They started dead level with no time. We'll take a look in the slow-mo. What happens here? Is it when she's dragging the toe?
See, it looks attached there.
I think it's when she's braking. Everybody kind of stands up on the soles of their feet. It's the only The only bit of adhesion they've got is going to be a bit more shoe goo holding those together. Valentine Margaglio, not only the best hair in the business, but our newest medalist, took a bronze last week. This is her 20th World Cup. Can she do it again?
5:15 off the start, looking to redeem herself from Uhlaender last week. Had a little bit of a mishap there in the upper portion of the track, but green numbers the upper portion here in Winterberg. Has a quarter second in the bank as she goes through the flat part in the upper third of the track.
And a phenomenal start of Valentina. She's got to be clinical, and sliding around too much here is going to take the speed away. It has already.
Yeah, we're seeing her a lot of work there. I saw elbows out and a toe drop, another toe drop there on the exit 8. 13th fastest speed. She's still got green numbers, but those are going to go away real quick.
It's a fine line, isn't it, between having control, which means grip, which means friction, and less control, which means less friction and more speed, but hitting lots of stuff and skidding everywhere. And that was the wrong side of the margin. 57.26. She's still in 7th place ahead of Meylemans and only 100 behind Neise, but not enough control, maybe.
I like that we're critiquing the fact that she just tied the old track record.
Yeah. I mean, empirically, that'll be the fastest she's ever been down this track.
We see here through turn.
Day job member of the Hair Bear bunch. Ask your father.
We see it through turn 11 here, not trusting the sled. We see the top leg coming out, bottom legs on the ice, both toes drop there. I mean, when you're going faster than you ever gone before, you're officially in unknown territory. So
yeah,
sometimes you just kind of have to use your instincts. But tying a track record, I think she's gonna be pretty happy with that.
And it had kind of put the willies up early in the run, skating around. What about Kelly Curtis? Only her 5th World Cup, 9th, 14th and 13th. She's having a strong season on tracks that she barely knows at all. She's been here to Winterberg just once 2 years ago.
5:37, strong start and a strong rookie campaign for Kelly. She's 0.07 of a second back, but she's another one of those athletes that builds speed late, so she's falling back to a 10. But Kelly's been doing a really good job on this tour this year. She's had a lot thrown at her, doesn't seem to get rattled.
Double NAC champion and then ICC champion the season before last.
We'll check her speed here, a little high on the exit 8. You see her clip the wall. 6th fastest speed though.
Man, she's coming.
Right. Yeah.
10th at the start. She's up to 5th on the splits. And at a similar start to Katie Uhlaender, a little wide and low at the bottom. And this is going to be a hellacious ride at the line. 8th place. Well, it all kind of got away, like you say, going faster than you've ever been down in those final corners. And in her case, absolutely, literally, what would she have done in an ICC weekend? 10 trips. She's done 6 in training. So she's got fewer than 20 trips down here, and that was the fastest ice she's ever encountered.
Within 0.06 of a second of the old track record.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good through here. We see her exit of turn 11. Got the exit 13, little flop there, but once again, we've said it a few times. That's kind of what you do there. Maybe a little more aggressive. We see the skid as she goes into pressure, so that hurt her a little bit. And way to hold on to the sled here. Now she's past the timing eye at that point, so that's just bonus points.
She was shooting up to the roof there in 15 at 80 miles an hour. That's scary stuff. Kimberley Bos, the leader. And next up is Kelly Curtis's teammate Megan Henry, the 34-year-old Army intelligence officer. 12th World Cup, she's done 2 of them here, and I'd forgotten this, she was in the Worlds back in 2015 here. What was she then, 9?
Throw it way back. So good start for Meg. She's known for her start ramp, 5:32. So it's the 2nd fastest start. She's actually pulling it back a little bit. 1/100th of a second back through the top. Meg's really come into her own this season and really has been putting the gliding aspect of the sliding into her repertoire.
Well, her only previous World Cup here, she was in 7th place 2 seasons ago. Didn't travel last year. The Army had put a travel ban on. This is a good-looking run as well. Top 5. Whoa. Katie Uhlaender tied for 3rd, and Megan Henry is closing in on Katie. 12th best speed means she's going to drift away. Around with Kelly Curtis, 10th place, 57.41. Well, 2/3 of that run was going really strong.
Couple of small mistakes, but I mean, we're being, once again, really nitpicky. These are fast runs today, faster than they've ever gone before, so you're making up some of it on the fly. So you have to take that into consideration. But we see her here in the Kreisel. Meg is so small. She's super aerodynamic, so that definitely plays in her favor. We see her through turn 11 here. You can tell, though, her feet are apart. She's not sure at that point. You see that left leg sticking up the track. But a solid run, and she's in striking distance of the top 6.
Well, she was doing high 59s, 58, 69 and 50 in the first day of training, so she's going between 1 and 2 tenths quicker today. What about Jacqueline Loelling, another of the hometown queens here? Look at the fan club support for this 26-year-old from the RSG. That's Ren Schlitten Hochsauerland. Her 49th World Cup start. She's had 2 wins here last year, off the podium, 4th place. Let's see what she's got this afternoon.
5:61. Looks like she loaded a little bit early there. 16th right now, but once again, we have seen the Speed Queen bring it back on multiple occasions. Already bringing, stop the bleeding at 4,400s back.
Silver in the World Championships here in 2015 behind Lizzie Arnold. In World Cup races, 2 silvers, 2 golds, and most recently 2 4th place finishes.
So she's leveled out 4,400s back at the last 2 time checks. So now she's gonna start stepping on the gas. 3,800s back, here we go. Fastest speed through turn 9. This is what Jackie does.
Faster than Tina Hermann, faster than Kimberley Bos, our lead 2. 2,900s back. Hasn't got enough ice to get there. She's, 2,700s back. She found nothing in corner 15. Normally, that's worth between 1 and 2 tenths for a German slider.
Tied with her teammate, a 100th of a second faster than the old track record. So once again.
Oh, yeah. So the 2 hometown queens are tied for 6th. Hannah Neise and this lady, Jacqueline Loelling.
So we see her in turn 11, head down. She knows where she's at. She's trusting it, feet together, looks relaxed. See her exit turn 13 here. Little flop, we expect it. That's exactly what you want to see from what we've seen today. That's just the way the ice is cut. Fastest speed through the bottom, so she's doing something right.
100th ahead of Valentina Margaglio. How many trips has she had down this track? Her and Hannah Neise, I wonder. Well, next up, Anna Fernstedt, another product of the German coaching program. 33rd World Cup race for Anna. She was 8th here last year. She was the junior world champion on this track in January 2020. 5:54, that's quicker than we've seen from Loelling.
5:54, but more importantly, she was drama-free on the exit of corner 0. So she's already starting to build speed compared to the field. That was probably the best corner 0 we've seen all day. So 3,800's back. If she's 38 or less here, that means she's starting to bring it back. 44, so she's still dropping back just a little bit. 11th fastest speed through the Kreisel.
But still 16th on the splits with only one sled behind her, Kelly Delka. This is really not what we're expecting from Anna Fernstedt from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any major dramas here. Just down on speed. This is what we saw with the British earlier. Maybe they just picked the wrong setup.
Well, it's kind of what we've seen from Anna all season long. Good lines, starts no worse than you would expect, but 14th, 16th and 12th. And we've been on tracks that she knows well. She is wearing a very perplexed expression a lot this season.
Yeah,
and if the lines aren't that bad and the speed's not there, you immediately look at the equipment.
Yeah, I'm looking at these lines here, and I don't see anything that sticks out. I mean, her start was back. We're used to that with Anna, but she never really put her foot on the gas.
Yeah, and she's not coming back, and that's the key. Well, Nicole Silveira from Brazil, no races her in her career. This is only her 7th World Cup, only her 2nd of this year. She spent the first 9 races of her season doing North America Cup and ICC, took 8 medals, including 6 wins. Now that is how you start a campaign.
Yeah, not a bad way to start your Olympic season. 5-4-0 off the start. She's still trying to figure out which way the corners are going here. She's got so little experience, I would guess. I'm joking. I'm sure Nicole knows which way the corners are going.
Yes, but you're right. I mean, you're right. It's finessing it. You know, getting down is one thing. Getting down with that speed from the start, still intact, is another. 12th at the start, 15th on the splits, but look at the speed. Top 10 speeds.
9th fastest through the Kreisel, a little high on the exit of 8. She clips going into 9. 9th fastest speed again. Yeah, she can bring it back now.
Exactly, we've seen so many people losing speed at the bottom. If she can hang on to some of that, 128, it's a couple of kilometers shy of the fastest, rolls it across the line. Well, first time down in the World Cup, getting entertaining 57.50. That's 1300s quicker than Anna Fernstedt, who grew up on this track and Koenigsee. 5th World Cup here for Anna Fernstedt. First time ever here for Nicole Silveira.
That's an excellent debut.
Yeah, she's having a knock it out of the park season.
So you're high there a little bit on the exit of turn 8, that little clip before turn 9. It just changes the rhythm of the track there at the bottom, causes you to have to work a little bit more. I will say this, for somebody that's new to the track though, she looks very relaxed. You see the left leg sticking out a bit, so she is putting her knee in the sled. And definite style points. You see her actually airborne as she goes over the line.
Well, no friction in the air, so there's that. Nicole Silveira, by the way, 700s behind Elena Nikitina of Russia. Well, next up, our 20th starter, Mimi Rahneva from Canada. 35th World Cup race for her, her 5th here. She's been 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 2nd. Didn't race last year. She was recuperating from injury.
5:30, so 6th fastest start time, but she, like her teammate Jane, did a great job through corner 0, 4th fastest velocity through turn 1, and look at that, green numbers. Corner 0 matters that much.
Is this where she starts to unlock her season? She's basically looked hurt and perplexed, not physically hurt, but mentally, all year long, like everything she knows how to do just doesn't work anymore. Now she's still in the green below the Kreisel and building the lead.
It's working now, that's for sure. Still in the green, 7th fastest speed. She's got a hot run going. We'll see where she ends up.
Yes, she does.
Tied for the
Kimberley
lead.
Bos is the leader. And 400s back to Tina Hermann, a 10th back in 3rd. That'll do nicely ahead of Janine Flock and Katie Uhlaender. What an interesting looking lead group. Kimberley Bos leads from Tina Hermann, the returning Mimi Rahneva, Janine Flock, Katie Uhlaender, Jane Channell in 6th. Only one German in the top 6 in Winterberg.
Yeah, it looks like you just kind of took a dartboard of people and said, hey, anybody has a chance today. I guess when everybody's setting track records, it's anybody's game. So you're here, exit of Kreisel, gets it picked up there at the end a little bit, but she's letting the sled fly. That's the big thing. She's not getting in the way of the sled. She's letting it accelerate and just letting it do its thing. Clean run right there, 8 to 9. And a really solid run from Mimi.
And 1800s inside the old track record. Laura Deas of Great Britain, Olympic bronze medalist in Pyeongchang. 56th, I beg your pardon, we haven't got there yet. We've got to Brogan Crowley, her 10th World Cup. Her first time in World Cup here, although she's raced 3 previous times. Let's see what she's got today to try and make it into the race.
5:26 getaway, 6th fastest start. She's 600s back on the lead. Now, what we saw during the men's races, the BlackRock sleds were not accelerating compared to, and notably, did not have speed in them. And we're seeing Brogan starting to fall back now, 1800s back and only the 20th speed, 20th best speed so far in the competition.
Not many major mistakes. You only heard a couple of toe steers higher up on the track. And she's neat and tidy. She hasn't got the speed, and you need record-breaking plus speed to be in the lead group here.
We could be nitpicky about her lines, but there was no major dramas. The sled just does not seem like it has the speed in it. I mean, that was a solid-looking run. I mean, it was just a good push, a solid run. If I would have watched that run without seeing the timing screen, I would have guessed that's a top 10 run.
Yeah, agreed. And again, if the athlete's not making big mistakes and the time is just bleeding out of the sled, you've got to look at the contact patch between the sled and the ice. There's something. Well, she kind of meanders away from the sled there, but still gets a good start.
Yeah,
she's in 20th place.
I think she had good velocity, good speed through the start ramp, and then immediately in the corner one speed check, she was down to like 16th.
Well, Kimberley Bos is our leader with 20 sleds down, a narrow group, 5 sleds covered by 1200s, and 5 to go, I beg your pardon, 7 to go. First up is Laura Deas, 56th World Cup start for our Olympic bronze medalist. It's her 7th World Cup here, and she did the World Championships as well.
5:30, so she matches Kimberley Bos's leading start time, or the start time for the leader, I should say. Laura with a ton of experience. Absolutely.
First race here 7 years ago, she was 4th. She's been 8th, 7th twice, and then the last 2 years, 13th and 12th. And actually on this season's form, 13th or 12th would be a positive move forward.
So this is another case. I'm listening to this sled. You don't hear a lot of scraping. She's quiet, although she's a little skid there, but not a big deal. But you look at the speed, 16th best speed. This is something, this has got to be a sled issue with the BlackRock program, because there are little things here and there, but there's no reason that Laura Deas, an Olympic medalist with a solid start and good lines, should be back in 20th place right now. This sled just does not have the speed. Her top speed is 4 kilometers an hour down on the leaders.
Not 0.4, 4 kilometers. You're right.
Yes.
And you know, if you're good enough to win an Olympic medal, and you're good enough to finish just off the podium here on your debut, then you are definitely good enough to be in the race, and a lot higher than where she is, which is 20th place. She missed the cut last week in Altenburg. She might miss the cut again today.
Well, she just bumped her teammate out, and she's now on the hot seat in 20th place. There's a lot of firepower down there right now.
And the 2 British athletes start 6th and 7th fastest in the field. Okay, next up, 10th World Cup race for Elena Tarasova of Latvia. It's her 2nd time here in the World Cup. She's done 2 Junior Worlds here and 3 Europa Cup weekends, so she has got good experience of the track. Raced into 19th place last season.
5:54, so 20th fastest start. Now, I would say her goal here would be somewhere in the 15 to 20 range.
Yeah.
Having a pretty solid season so far. Has some great travel companions to learn from, too, in the Dukas brothers.
Well, she finished 17th last week in Altenburg. It's the first time she's made the cut this season.
Good-looking lines, a little bit off in turn 5 there, but nothing too dramatic. 14th best speed through the middle.
Good speed.
22nd on the timesheet right now, though. 10th fastest speed's going to help.
Here we go. Yes, it is.
I think she can do it.
And you think about the last 2 sliders, Brogan Crowley and Laura Deas, their speed was dropping all the way down. Hers is picking up in the top 10 speeds. Has she got enough to get in at the line? Not enough, by 600s behind Laura Deas. So 1 bullet dodged. 19th last year and 21st in the run out of 23 sleds. Brogan Crowley behind her, as is Kelly Delka of Puerto Rico.
Once again, this field is so competitive. It's just the littlest things. That right there does not look like there's a lot of drama, but high on the exit 8 and that clip before turn 9. We see her here in turn 11, heads up a little bit. We see the right toe down and the left foot up, so she's putting a lot of energy in the sled to try to get it to turn, and that does not help build speed.
Laura Deas remains on the bubble with 4 sleds to go. And the next slider should be less of a worry, potentially. Zhu Yangqi of China, only the 2nd World Cup for this 21-year-old. Raced here in the Europa Cup 3 weeks ago, so she has got a little bit of experience. She'll have done maybe 8 or 10 trips down the ice there, but she gets spat a little left and skids off 0.
Oh, and that hurt her. She goes from the 14th fastest start time to the 24th fastest speed through corner 0. Once again, I cannot say it enough. On this track, corner 0 is the top of the track. If you don't get it, you can't get it back. Big skid there, toe action. It looks like they went for the loose setup here today. 23rd fastest speed going through the Kreisel. We see the toe dragging. She's going to struggle to make the top 20. 23rd on the splits right now with the 18th fastest speed. A little flop out of turn 9.
World Cup best result, 19th place last week in Altenburg. 16th best speed, but not enough ice to capitalize, and whoa! In all sorts of trouble in the final corner. If you don't get the steer onto that Zeal curve correct, you just head up to the roof and then plunge back down into the gutter, then you get thrown back up again, and you end up rolling off the final corner. So she will not get a second heat either. 58.09 run for Zhu Yangqi of China.
See her here on the start ramp. Got on a little bit early, but really had trouble here. Got spit out, clipped the wall before corner 0. You're done. You're absolutely done at that point. There's nothing you can do except react, but your speed is gone. And then the drama over the finish curve. Nice save. What's interesting about that run, though, even with all of the skidding, still had higher speeds than both of the British ladies.
Yes. Agathe Bessard of France next up, 20th last year. This is her 2nd World Cup here, her 12th in total. I'm loving the marmot on the helmet. Let's see if the track loves her. Raced here in Europa Cup, Intercontinental Cup and Junior World Championships as well as last year's World Cup. 5:58 getaway.
23rd fastest start for Bessard. She's looking here to try to get into the top 20. She's 24th on the splits right now. If nothing else, I love Olympic gear because of all of the cool helmets and the sled designs that come out. It is my favorite part of Olympic gear for sure. All right, here we go. 14th fastest speed through the middle. That is how you drive yourself back into the field. She's up to 23rd, a little high on the exit at 8. 20th fastest speed there. Does she have a chance to overtake Deas for that last spot?
Well, that would be a big elbow out there. That would be a big scalp for Agathe Bessard. 21st best speed. She's drifting away now. She's going to be behind Brogan, Crowley and Zhu Yangqi. So 58.10 for the slider from La Plagne. Well, she made it into last year's field, not into this year's. 24th at the line with 2 to go.
She had a great looking middle of the track. When I saw that 14th fastest speed in the Kreisel, I was pretty excited for her. Looks like it got away from her there a little bit in 11, and then we see her exit 13. It was the problem there, it's too smooth. She didn't do the flop, which tells you she's really driving the sled hard, and while it looked pretty, it actually costs you speed.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Sometimes the neater your line, the more ice you're cutting. Kimberley Bos, the leader, after 25 sleds, 2 to go. 10th World Cup race for Lin Weiyang of China, the 23-year-old here for a 2nd World Cup race. 2 years ago, she was 21st. Last week in Altenburg, 16th place finish for her, equals her World Cup best up to that stage.
5:45, so 18th fastest start. Nice drama-free run through corner 0 there. Holding on to that 18th spot with 18th speed. She's also looking to just make that top 20, get a chance for a 2nd run. As you've pointed out many times, getting that 2nd run just adds to the experience cube.
Well, it means you get 8 runs instead of 7 in a season, although we do come back here a second time. 13th best speed, all looking promising, but just drifting away a fraction towards the bottom of the top 20. It's her or Laura Deas.
9th fastest speed at the bottom. She's got something going right now.
Well, that's Billy Schneider's knowledge helping them. 8th best speed, 1:28.8. She's in the race, and the Olympic bronze medalist is not.
Wow.
15th place. Yep. That speed in that final corner, Greg, again, it's like some weird time warp thing. You hit it going fast enough, it boosts you to the line.
I'm curious if we'll get that entrance to turn 14, because the Chinese have got something figured out in the entrance there. They've all had good speed in that final corner. She looked a little off balance on her start for the steps there right as she went over the crest.
And then sort of came across. It's almost as if she sort of worked herself back onto line.
Do not see any steering. Like, you have to really be nitpicky to see she kind of cocked her foot to the right there to get a little toe steer in, but it was all relaxed, super aerodynamic, and that's where she found that speed in that final corner.
Well, she's one spot better than her best ever as we get to our final slider, a World Cup debutante, Caroline Andre of Switzerland, a former ski jumper. Her mum and dad must have been delighted when she said, I'm going to go head first now at 80 miles an hour. Oh, that's so much safer.
A little bit of a skid here. It's always nerve-wracking to make your World Cup debut. I had to make mine in Whistler. And,
all right, yeah. Okay.
A little more stressful than Winterberg.
She only raced once last season, and that was here in Europa Cup. She's done 3 ICC races this year. She was in North America in the 1920 season, had a pretty decent year of learning those tracks. So the Swiss have clearly been getting around a lot around the world. 26 best speed. She is our 27th slider, and is basically a battle between her and Kelly Delka for the honour of not being at the tail of the field.
Pretty good lines here at the bottom of the track for being as young as she is. Wow. A little wild at the end.
59.19 at the bottom. 27th place for 30-year-old Caroline Andre. So welcome to the World Cup.
Well,
and again,
your first World Cup is just about...
Olympic year, a packed field full of talent, nobody missing.
Yeah, your first World Cup is it's always kind of nerve-wracking. You know, you get the cameras in your face. I've got bad cotton mouth. You get a little tight, and that causes the sled to kick out like we saw a little bit. Maybe a little aggressive on the setup. Also, track record ice. You know, you're new to the track, and it's faster than it's ever been before. So everything's really coming at you quick. But all in all, solid run. She's happy.
Yeah. Excellent. So she makes her World Cup debut. I wonder where we will see her next, whether she comes to Altenberg or whether maybe it'll be St. Moritz. However, we will see this slider all season long, Kimberley Bos. She is the leader after the first of our 2 heats here in Winterberg. A slender 400s over a 2-time winner on this champion, Tina Hermann. And the top 5 sleds are covered by 1200s. Jane Channell, 1900s back, only 900s off bronze, held by teammate Mimi Rahneva. I'm thinking that's where the medal hopes stop, but a tie between the 2 local sliders, Neise and Jacqueline Loelling. I don't know, maybe they could break into it. We saw German men coming from outside the top 6 into the top 3, so it is possible. Let's wait and see what the second heat brings us. 20 fastest sleds go through, and they will be led off by Anna Fernstedt of the Czech Republic, Olympic bronze medalist Laura Deas and Teraud, Brogan Crowley, Zuyang Chi, Agathe Bessard, Kelly Delka and Caroline Andre do not make the second heat. They'll be watching trackside. You can join them and us. Watch the action as we come back at 1600 local, 1500 GMT. That is 10 Eastern. Martin Haven, Greg West and the IBSF TV crew will be here. Hope you will too. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you then.
aber es ist immer sehr kritisch mit sich selber, wie will die Perfektion erreichen, obwohl man ja perfekt kaum sein kann. Aber das ist eben auch ein Charakterzug von Hermann. Vielleicht ab und zu ein bisschen verkrampft, aber dass es fahren kann, das haben wir heute wieder gesehen.
Das ist wahr. Dann haben wir Katie Uhlaender, dann haben wir